What is up, everybody? It's your boy here, Baba, and today we'll be diving into a new video project that I have wanted to do for a while. Today we're going to be going over the Call of Duty multiverse, and in case you don't know, this will include every mainline entry into the franchise. I will not, unfortunately, be talking about the DS or the weird Nokia phone game ports. I also, once again, unfortunately, won't be talking about the Ether storyline. I will talk about the Dark Ether storyline because it ties into some of the other games we'll be covering as canon. Extinction, Exo Zombies, and Infinite Warfare Zombies will get their own videos as well. I also won't be talking about games such as Final Fronts or the Big Red One. Today's games we'll be going over will be COD 1, 2, 3, and World War 2, which I am naming this video Call of Duty Timeline Part 1, the World War 2 era. World War 2 era. Now, boys and girls, sit back, relax, and enjoy this deep dive into the Call of Duty Multiverse Part 1. August 10th, 1942. This is the earliest date in the games. And you start as an American named Private Martin. He is a member of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, and he is currently in training camp at Tuco Camp in the United States. He is trained by Sergeant Foley. September 18th, 1942. Private Alexei is on one of the dozens of bargers heading towards the Battle of Stalingrad. He is handed some ammo and a rifle. He then finds a sergeant that gives him orders and helps him survive the MG turrets. After this, they are tasked to take the Red Square, and they do. Alexei is promoted to junior sergeant. September 1942. Private Kozlov is involved in the defense of Moscow from the Germans' advancing forces during the Battle of Stalingrad. November 9th, 1942. Under Sergeant Pavlov's orders, Alexei and some random Soviet soldiers take and hold a house and destroy the enemy tanks and soldiers that are trying to take it back. November 11th, 1942. Davis and Captain Price fight through the trenches and eventually control the German field headquarters. After this, they then take part in the assault of El Diva to intercept the remaining Germans in Egypt. December 1942. Kozlov and his crew battle for strongholds throughout Stalingrad. During this time, they reconnected telephone lines, and they've captured vital train stations. January 1943. Kozlov and his crew recapture and defend the city blocks of Stalingrad. June 5th, 1944. This mission begins a Normandy invasion, and in which Martin lands outside of the town of Santee Mary Inglis. He is a pathfinder tasked to lay a drop zone beacon for the other paratroopers. The paratroopers' drop was awful, and they were scattered everywhere, which leaves Martin mixed in a unit formed from arbitrary units. They soon dispatched the Germans. A few hours later, Martin and his squad had to hold off the town from the invading Germans until morning. Martin then takes out several Tiger tanks and mortar crews, in which his sergeant was told to give the word to other battalions. So they then drive through enemy lines to deliver the message to Santee Mary Demount. After Martin and his crew outstanding performance, they are asked to do special missions behind enemy lines. June 6, 1944. Sergeant Evans and his unit are taking part in Operation Tonga. They are dropped from horse gliders alongside the canal near the Pegasus Bridge. They then capture and defend the Pegasus Bridge. The next day, the unit is asked again to protect the bridge until reinforcements from the 7th Parachute Battalion arrives. They succeed in their mission. June 6, 1944. Corporal Bill Taylor assaults the Pointy Du Hawk to destroy German artillery and hold against a massive German counteroffensive. After that, Taylor and co. capture a nearby town and keep it until reinforcements arrive. After this, Taylor and co. focuses on Hill 400, involving the capture of Bergstein, eventually taking the hill. Next, Taylor and his crew crosses the Rhine River, crossing into Germany. Taylor then destroys 2 Tiger tanks. Battle of Normandy, 1944. This is COD 3, the American campaign. Private John joins Corporal Mike Dixon, Private Leroy Huxley, and his commanding officer Frank McCullen. The squad joins in on the fight in the final offensive in the capture of St. Lo. When they arrive, McCullen enlists a radio operator named Salvatore Guzzo, who was separated from his group. He then joins in on the attack. They then secure St. Lo and were folded in with the 90th Infantry Division as reinforcements to ensure St. Germain-sur-Sèvre. The squad then takes part in the assault on Marigny to capture its heavily fortified bridge. They then need to disarm the bombs rigged to the bridge. Huxley is then wounded on his way over to disarm the bombs. McCullen then runs over to help disarm the bombs, but he is mortally wounded by a mortar shell. And before McCullen dies, he disarms the bombs. Nixon is then promoted to sergeant and assumes command of the squad. After this, the team is sent to clear out Fort des Écoves to locate some engineers who have gone missing. They then encounter a surviving engineer. They then clear the remaining Germans out of the forest. The squad is sent back to aid in liberation, a vital crossroads at Lee Bourg Saint Leonard, north, closing the fallacy pocket. They then defend the town of Chambos, which was the last escape route for the trapped Germans. After taking over the city, Nichols' squad and the other protecting American groups come under attack by some retreating Germans. Guzzo then attempts to call for air support, but his radio is then destroyed. Guzzo then marks the targets with flares, but he is then wounded. Nichols and Dixon rescue him, but Dixon gets killed as they reach Allied lines. After the battle, they are all promoted and march to liberate Paris. Guzzo then attempts to call for air support, but his radio is then destroyed. Guzzo then marks the targets with flares, but he is then wounded. Nichols and Dixon rescue him, but Dixon gets killed as they reach Allied lines. After the battle, they are all promoted and march to liberate Paris. British campaign. Sergeant James Doyle, a member of SAS, who, alongside Corporal Duncan Keith Wilkins and Sergeant Major General Ingram, are deployed to France to assist the Marcus resistance. And before they arrive, they are then shot down. Wilkins is executed shortly after they land, and Dolan was before they arrive, Dolan was rescued by Pierre Lee Roche, the leader of Manquis. They then assault a manor to free Marcel, a member of Manquis. They then regroup with Keith. Marcel reveals that he stole plans of a German-held fuel plant before he was captured. They then launch a raid to destroy the plant, and it was successful. They then escape. Ingram's vehicle is then destroyed, resulting in him getting captured. Keith and company then go and rescue them, ending in Isabel's death via a satchel charge suicide. The Canadian campaign. Private Joseph Cole is led by World War I veteran Jonathan Collard. Earl Bichard commands a platoon and is aided by Sergeant Collard. They then attack a German artillery battery on a nearby ridge before marching on to capture the industrial complex and holding off an enemy counterattack. They then clear a forested area near the Leeson River and destroy several anti-tank positions and a motor pool to clear the way for Allied convoys to move through the site. Cole's squad is then tasked to lead a rescue mission to free a captured Canadian tank crew in St. Lambert, and they then take over the town. They then fight a King Tiger tank, and Collard then sacrifices himself to destroy the King tank because the explosives were faulty. They then join the Canadian reinforcements, advancing to aid the Poles struggling to defend Hill 262. Polish campaign. Bohater and his crew join in defense of Hill 262, and they endure a heavy assault by the remnants of the German 7th Army in their attempt to escape. Bohater's tank is soon destroyed, forcing them to fight alongside the foot soldiers. They are then joined by Baron, and Bohader, who provides artillery support to destroy several tanks. The German soldiers then kill Barton, and they soon defeat the Germans. July 25th, 1944. Sussman partakes in Operation Cobra and successfully pushes to reclaim the town of Margini. Colonel Davis then orders the crew to conduct a collaborative process with Special Operations Executive British officers, Major Arthur Crowley and Vivian. They are to intercept a German train carrying V-2 rockets. They then derail the train before going back to their squad by French leader Rosario. August 1st, 1944. Rosario and Crowley infiltrate a German garrison in Paris to retrieve explosives to prepare the squad's assault on the regiment. Rosario ends up killing Heinrich in retaliation for him killing her family. They successfully liberate Paris. August 7th, 1944. Martin and his unit are then tasked to assault any base in the Bavarian Alps of Germany to rescue officers of the British Army, which are Captain Price and Major Ingram. They are also tasked to find any intel, but Major Ingram was moved to another base. September 7th, 1944. Evans is working with SAS and is dropped alone next to the Elder Dam. He then destroys the anti-aircraft guns, and he enters the dam, places bombs on the electric generators, just in case the bombs don't destroy the dam. He then makes his way back up the dam and hops in a truck with Captain Price and Sergeant Waters. They then take off to an airfield, facing miles of constant fire. In the end, they ended up boarding a plane and they head off. September 18th, 1944. Martin has to free Major Ingram from a prisoner camp called Dulag outside Strassenhof, Australia. Martin and his squad are successful in the rescue attempt. October 1st, 1944. The squad takes over a German-occupied hotel in Aachen. They discover civilians inside the hotel, and Turner orders them to evacuate. Pearson finds out that a young girl named Anna goes missing. Daniel looks for her, but the Germans suddenly open fire, killing Anna's older sister. Pearson then sends the truck away without any protection. October 27th, 1944. Price and Evans infiltrate the German battleship Tirpitz near Trosmau, Norway. Evans plants bombs and retrieves the ship's patrol logs to get an advantage on the German Navy. Unfortunately, as they escape, Price is mortally wounded and dies. November 14th, 1944. During the Battle of Hurtgen Forest, the crew is ordered to take Hill 493. Turner then divides the platoon into two groups. Pearson and Zussman are called to advance on the hill, and Turner and Daniels will cover them while they moved. They then destroy an artillery position. The Germans attack the group with some Tiger tanks, then resulting in Daniels getting knocked out. Perez then destroys the tank, but Turner is killed trying to rescue Daniels. Daniels then orders them to abandon him, and he will cover their escape, resulting in his death. December 25th, 1944. During the Battle of the Bulge, the squad is surrounded by Germans. Daniel happens to meet an African-American technician named Howard. He helps them get some air support. They discover that the Germans were planning on destroying a bridge, which is the last bridge over the Rhine. The squad then destroys the explosive in transit, and Pearson then orders them to attack a nearby airbase to destroy the remaining explosives. The plan fails, and the enemy surrounds Daniel and Zussman. However, Howard saves Daniels, and Zussman gets captured and taken to a German POW camp named Stalag IXB. Zussman is interrogated based on his Jewish heritage by an SS officer, Metz. He is beaten and sent to a labor camp. January 15th, 1945. Private Martin clears out two bunkers located in Bekenstein, Belgium, and takes enemy documents. Two German tanks then ambush them. Martin hops on the enemy's Flak 88s and destroys them quickly. This is the last time we hear from Martin and his crew. These next events take place sometime in 1945. I couldn't find an exact date for these events, but this is regarding the ending to World War II. I currently don't have the game on hand to go look, but I scoured the wiki and YouTube videos, and I can't seem to find a place for it. So I just put it sometime in 1945. Sometime after so the platoon heads into Germany, liberating the concentration camps, looking for Zussman. Daniel finds and saves Zussman, killing Metz before Zussman is executed. Daniel then returns to Texas, reuniting with his wife and newborn son. January 17th, 1945. Sergeant Alexei and his men secure a German train repair facility in Warsaw during the Fistel-Oder offensive. January 26, 1945. Due to men shortages, Alexei commands a 3485 tank, and he blows his way to a town near the Oder River. He then destroys all the anti-aircraft guns and tanks and secures the city. February 2nd, 1945. Evans and his unit are sent to destroy some V-2 enemy rockets, and when they reach it, they find out that they needed to fuel the rockets and use the fuel to destroy the rockets with the bombs. When they do, Evans plants explosives on the missiles and destroys them. They then escape. This is the last we hear of Evans and his squad. April 30th, 1945. Sergeant Alexei and the Soviet army battle their way to Berlin, and they raise the Soviet flag over the Reichstag, resulting in the war's end and the last possible point in this timeline. Hey guys, Bob out here, and I appreciate if you made it this far into the video. Some of you may be wondering, why wasn't, World at War included in this? And for some of you deep lore buffs, you might be asking yourself, why isn't Black Ops in this? Or why isn't the Aether storyline mentioned? Well, it's pretty simple. World at War does not take place in the same continuity based on the fact that Sergeant Alexei, he raises the Soviet flag, and it's not Dmitri. He does it. Dmitri does it in the original World at War. Also, Nikolai at the end of Tattered Totem creates a singular universe, which is the Black Ops timeline in Modern Warfare 2019 in World at War. That's why. I appreciate y'all for making it this far. I honestly thought this video would be longer, but I'm happy it's not. I don't want y'all to be here all day watching my video. If you do enjoy the content and you want me to make more, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. A big thanks to the guys in Discord. They are a tremendous help in making sure my continuity videos are good and my script reads decent. I also want to give a major shout out to Autobot Sonic, the Telltale Gamer. He was the main guy who went through my my document and picked it for stuff. He told me that World War II was supposed to be in it. I wasn't going to include World War II in it. I was going to have that as its own little video, but I decided to throw it in there. Also, he mentioned that Call of Duty 2 takes place before Call of Duty 1, and I fact checked it on Wiki, and it was true. Most of the missions do. That's why Price is alive. I originally wasn't going to have Price in the video because I thought Price was dead, and I was going to try to lump that in with World at War, because it's a big rabbit hole we'll get into later. And as always, all sources I use in this video are in the description. I also don't have a capture card, so I can't capture videos of any of these. I mean, I could do World War II, but I don't have the game. So I'm going to borrow people's YouTube videos on it, and I link them in the description for it. If they want a shout out or if they got a problem, I'll take it off the video and I'll re-edit it and everything like that. And I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.